Today we're doing another video on custom visuals and on the Deneb visual to be specific. If you haven't already checked it out, please do so. It's developed by Daniel Marsh Patrick and it's great. It leverages an existing platform called Vega Lite, and you can download it from App Source, and it's a low-code way to make a wide range of custom visuals. It's relatively easy to learn. It is low code, so it's not no code like Charticulator, but it's a pretty straightforward and good entry point for doing a little bit of coding. The visuals look great, and if the visual you make is bigger than the visual size on your report page, it automatically adds scroll bars, which is a great feature. What I'm going to do the video today on is to address an issue you may run into as well. And so when you do have scrolling, it's very easy. Once you scroll out, the legend might not be viewable, or the axis may not be in view, except at one extreme of the visual. So I'm going to show you actually two ways today that you can bring a scrolling effect as well as keep the legend and axis in view the whole time. And it's not truly scrolling, it's really through a filtering effect, but it feels the same to the consumer. After that, I'll show you a variation on that where you can actually just use a measure to dynamically, sort by whatever field or value you want in your visual. And then there's also a bonus tip I'll show you as well that you can really add with just a couple of lines of code, a really cool pan and zoom effect to your Deneb visuals. If you're learning a lot from these videos, please go ahead and follow me on Twitter and subscribe to this YouTube channel so you see the latest stuff as it comes out. All right. So the first way I'm going to show is actually not the way I recommend, but it works. And in case you have a scenario where it is useful to you, I'm going to go ahead and show it. So first, what I'll do on the left is just show you the issue. And it's not a huge issue because, this is a very simple Vega Lite visual, Deneb visual. You make real simply very close to one of the templates that's in the app, the visual when you download it. And with this slight modifications, able to make this bar chart, color it by this field. This is all just mock data. But you can see it adds the nice scroll bar here. But as soon as I start scrolling, one, you don't see the x-axis here, so how high these bars are. And as soon as I scroll down to get to that, I think I got 100 here. I don't see the legend anymore, although I do see the x-axis. So what could we do here? And if you look at the Vega Lite page and the documentation page and the example gallery that's there, which I highly encourage you to do because you can borrow a lot of code from there, this is one of the example visuals they show where they actually have concatenated two visuals, and the bottom visual is actually used to filter the one above. So you can actually click and drag to select a region on this one, and then you can let go and then click and drag again to pan across, right? And which is a really cool effect, and it does work well, and you can get this off of the example gallery. So I took this same approach and applied it to here, and you can see this looks really busy, but what I've effectively done is instead of concatenating them vertically, I've concatenated a second visual here horizontally with the hconcat feature, and I basically took away the axis. I didn't give it any kind of a x value. It's just these stacked products basically without an axis, but I can do that same effect where I can drag and select here, let go, and then drag and move this up and down, and I get a scrolling effect, right? So it does work. I haven't found out a way yet, and it probably is possible to just bind this to a set width, so it would be actually like a scroll bar. You wouldn't have to do that first selection part. You could just come over here and drag it up and down. So if you do know how to do that, please put that in the comments below. But I actually found a way that I like better. Okay. And actually I made the chart too big, but sorry, normally you would see this as well. So all this would be is a quick change to the height of the chart to get the same effect here, and you'd see both the legend and the axis. My bad. The way I do recommend doing it is with this approach. And so Vega Lite has a few really cool features in it, and it has, so this visual come up here on the left, so this is some different mock data where I have 3 project milestones of differing dates for, I think, 50 projects. And again, made this visual pretty easily. And it's basically, this is the code for the visual on the left if you take out the colored text here. So just the black text alone is enough to generate this, where depending on what milestone is, I'm changing the shape and color. I have a x-axis of the dates, y-axis on the projects, and I'm sorting it by this index column behind the scenes. You could sort it by project as well. And then just some other stuff to set the height of each sort of row of data here, the width of the chart. But if you use these features here as well, so the 2 great things about Vega Lite is you can pass in and have these input parameters that your consumers can actually use as well to make decisions, and then you can use the values from these inside your visual in lots of different ways. And so I'll show you one way that helped with the scrolling effect today. And so if you look at just the orange text here, I added this part here just to create this scroll bar that goes from 1 to 100, starting at 1, and then down here there's all sorts of cool things where you can actually transform your data inside the visual. You can filter it down as I'm doing here. You can aggregate stuff. You can do more. You can add calculated columns. There's some statistics features in there. Definitely encourage you to explore it to see what's possible. But in this case, I'm using a transform with the filter function. And basically, I'm grabbing the value from the scroll bar, so whatever the selected value is, and I'm filtering it down to basically the index value of that to between 1 and whatever the scroll bar value is plus 19, right? So I always show 20 projects in view, and so as the scroll bar changes, so does this value here, and so therefore I'm filtering over a different range of index values, and I can get a scrolling feature. So if I come over here and then start to drag this, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I don't believe there's a way, I haven't found it yet, to make this input be a vertical input versus a horizontal. So it's a little counterintuitive that you would, move this side to side to scroll up and down. But I think labeling it scroll bar as I have makes it pretty intuitive to the consumers. Okay. So again, not a lot of code here, and added some great functionality. The other thing I wanted to show you is just with this little bit of code here in the blue, you can also take advantage of some of the select features in Vega Lite, and you can actually bind, mouse clicks and drags to your chart itself. So in this case, you're binding the scales to the selection. And I can't explain it much better than that because I don't fully understand it. But that's the nice thing about this. You can copy code and try it out and see if it works. And so what that does is if I go back over to the visual and I'm just going to scroll my mouse here, I can get this nice zoom effect. Okay. And then if I click and hold and drag, I can pan left and right as well. So this is really useful for this type of a project view where you might want to zoom in to see something closer. And again, I could fairly straightforward add labels to this. I mean, you can have tooltips as well, but you can add labels as well, zoom in and then pan left and right. So again, a really powerful feature with 3 lines of code here. Okay, so and I'll put this code in the description so that you can copy and paste it if interested. And then the last thing I'll show is, so with this set of data, I have just this index value that it goes when I created the project IDs. And so right now everything's sorted by project ID, but you may say, hey, I'd like to sort it a different way. How would I do that with this kind of functionality as well? Sorting stuff by a different column is straightforward. There's a sort parameter you can put into your encoding in the visual down in this part here. Like right here, this is sorted by index, even though the project name is what's showing on is what's used to make the axis. So that's real easy. But if I want to sort by something else, I have an example here on this last page where, let's say I want my visual to show the projects with the earliest milestone 3 dates first, and I want to sort them like that, but still have the scrolling functionality. So in this case, all I did was create a measure that uses rank X to do this. And this video is not about this expression. It turned out to be fairly involved to do, and maybe that's a video for another day. But it worked, and basically it creates a integer value based on that, and that shows in this table here. So the earliest dates are starting with 910, and you can see that over here in the visual, and then I get the same type of functionality, right? And then I get down here and I can zoom out more and see those later projects. Okay, and the only change I had to make, so this is the same exact code as I showed on the previous page, and all I did was add that measure into the visual and then access the value of it here, this ms3 rank. So this is the syntax here. You use datum dot and then the name of the visual. And I found out you can't have spaces in it because that'll throw it off from a parsing standpoint. So again, fairly straightforward approach. So I just had to put it in here in the filter and then use it here in the sorting, work out which order you want things to happen in, ascending or descending, and then it works. So hopefully you are exploring the Deneb visual and creating some new powerful visualizations. And if you do run into this issue where you wish you could see the legend and the axis while scrolling, hopefully this is helpful to you.